Hello, ladies. Hi. It's so good to be here with you again for our final night of the Real Talk series. I can't believe that it's already been 3 days. I can't believe that every single time I've done this, I've been in a different location. Now I am live here in LA. And it's an absolutely beautiful night, and I'm here in Venice, and so I thought that I would take advantage of the California vibes, sunset time, and come to you live from the outside. So as we wait for the rest of our sisters to join us, if you're already here, I see we've already got 3 people joining. Just go ahead and chat and let me know. I can't for some reason see who it is who's joining live on my computer like this, but comment on the side and let me know who you are and where you're coming in from. Fiorella, my sister, my beauty. I am so grateful and appreciative of you for being with us every single night and contributing so much to our conversations over the past couple of days. You've been an absolute light and a joy. And I feel like I already know you so well, even though we've really not even met in person yet. So I'm really appreciative of you. So thank you, sister. And Amy too. Hi, Amy. It's so good to see you again as well. I'm so happy that both of you are back and going to be here. And Erin, hi, Erin. It's so good to see you here, sister. We have to catch up. I need to hear how things are going with some of your big transition plans. Oh, you're welcome, Fiorella. And the same goes too for you, Amy and Erin as well. Thank you guys for joining again for the final night of the Real Talk series. So far, we have covered the world. Tell me and I'm just curious, I'm sitting outside and there's cars going by. If it's annoying, can you guys let me know? Hopefully you can't hear it, but if you are hearing it, I can change locations. But so our first night in the Real Talk series was around desire. Our second night was about money, and then, about fear. The second night was about money, and the third night, which is tonight, is about desire. So we've covered off on these 3 major areas, and as you know, here in the Worthy Woman community, we are all about getting real, being open, being vulnerable, not hiding, not faking it, no fluff, so that we can really step into our beings and activate around our doing and build the business and the life that we've ultimately been dreaming of. So that's what our intention is here, and that's why we're doing this series. Plus, it's my birthday tomorrow, as I've already told you. So this is also my way of giving back to you guys after being so wonderful and joining the movement. Did you know that we have almost 200, I think we have 230 women in the tribe now, and less than, I think they're on 10 days, something like that. Maybe we might be going on 2 weeks. We might be hitting the 11 or 12 day mark. But that's pretty crazy. Yay, woohoo, thanks guys. So we have a massive, there's something happening here, and you guys are part of catalyzing a movement for women entrepreneurs, and you're here as founding members, and you're on the ground floor, and I couldn't be happier that you're here with us again. So thank you. So tonight is all about desire, like I said, and we're going to talk a little bit tonight about what our big desires are, because it's not always, for me anyway, when it comes to the inner world of entrepreneurship, it's not always just about the things that are not going well and the places that we're stuck and where we're feeling the pain and the discomfort and the unfamiliarity, but it's also about allowing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to own the awesome shit that we want to do, to own the visions that we have for ourselves, and to own our worth around the being in that vision. So tonight is going to be about expanding into our extraordinary visions for ourselves. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences with this practice and where it's felt cool and great and super vibey, and where it's been really edgy for me, and how it's edgy, like where I'm pushing edges right now. And then we'll listen to that in you too. And then I'm going to guide you through a really easy but powerful visualization to help you imagine your extraordinary life. So if you're starting to join now and you haven't gotten a piece of paper and a pencil, you may want to grab something to write with now, because something may come forward to you as you're sharing in the group tonight and through this visualization and through our conversation. And desires, I feel like, can kind of come in and fly out really quickly. So I suggest grabbing that pen and paper so you can capture that desire while it's fresh and hot and all juicy here from our conversation tonight. And we're also going to talk to you about how we can better allow our desires, or what we can do to be in more allowance. I'll maybe share a little bit of more of my learnings around Abraham from Abraham this past weekend. And I'm also going to talk about the harmony between the conscious and the subconscious desires. So that's where we're going tonight. So it looks like we've got a pretty good crew started warming up for us here. We've got Amy and Aaron. So if anybody else is kind of hanging out, joining in, just give a chat. And like always, like I've said before, if you're new or you're joining again, hearts and flowers and smiley faces and whatever emotional things you want to give us along the way to let us know how you're feeling. So if you're happy to be here and you're excited to talk about desire right now, give me some love, give me some hearts, give me some flowers, give me some smiley faces. Let me know if you're feeling juiced up, jazzed up about having this conversation about desire tonight. Yeah, I'm seeing the hearts, I'm seeing them. Yeah, okay, cool, yes. Smiley faces, flowers. Every time I see the flower, it's like a dog with the squirrel. Every time it gets me. I don't know why, but it does. All right, so let's get down to it. Let's start talking about desire. So what I find, at least I'll start with myself, because I always feel like my experiences are mine, and I don't want to put what I've experienced on everyone else, but what I find with desire is I can hold something so powerfully for myself. I can see a vision for myself that's so powerful. And I'll tell you what some of my visions are in a bit, but I can hold something like that and I can see something so powerful. But then at the same time, I can be in the doubting and the judgment of it. So I can really, really want something, but at the same time, have that evil demon voice in the back of my head finding some way to make me feel like I can't have it. And so what I find is that it's difficult sometimes for me to create experiences and space where I can just be in my desire and really be in a blue sky place and allow myself to extend beyond what I believe is possible for me based on where I am now. And not having that opportunity to do that often enough sometimes makes me tend to play in my comfort zone. Even in terms of my wildest creations, I find myself being like, oh, well, if I could just make this much, then that would be great. Or if I could just do this, then that would be good enough. And that's not the way to inspire action. So tonight I wanted to start off our conversation around what we think and what we feel our desires are right now. So I would love to know from you, what are the things that you have been holding in your vision for your life and your business? What are those things that you have been sitting with, that you've been dreaming about, that have been in your heart and in your soul, that have been making you feel on fire, that are the things that are making you choose to be an entrepreneur and to do this at all? What is that desire that's driving you right now in your business? Let's start with where we are, and then we're going to take it up a notch. But let's start with our desires today. So I'd love to hear from you. Shelly, yeah, girl. So good to see you. Yes, Shelly and I were at Abraham this weekend together. So she's all about this desire terrain. So I want to hear from you. What are your desires right now? What is that big vision that you're holding for yourself in your business? Type it in the chat. Let me know. Let's share collectively what our visions are and as we're holding them today, so we can see what our tribe is creating, so we can see what we're holding in our collective vision, because it also gives us an opportunity to support each other. So I'll tell you what Oh, Erin says time and money freedom. Yeah, absolutely. I want to know more about that, Erin. How will you know? What is the physical manifestation of time and money freedom? What will you be feeling, doing, seeing, and experiencing in your life if you have time and money freedom? Fiorella says, stable, sufficient income doing what I love that allows me to sustain my life. Okay, great. So what is, again, let's get specific. Like, what does stable and sufficient mean to you? And what does sustain mean to you? Like, how will you know if that's happening in your life? What is it that you'll be seeing or not seeing in your life that is an example of that vision being true for you? I'll tell you about a specific vision that I have for myself. We talked about our financial goals last night. I told you that I have a financial goal of $1.5 million for my business next year. And then I'll tell you about a vision that I have, a bigger vision that I have that I'm working towards right now, where that income is going to be reinvested back into. So my mission is to help women entrepreneurs own their worth and earn their wealth. And that's my motivation. And that comes from a desire and a place because what I believe is that women are going to lead the next conscious paradigm of our planet. I believe that women are the forefront of healing a lot of what's been happening on our planet right now. And I also believe that women entrepreneurs are pioneering and are doing things that have never been done before. And the only people that we have to look to are each other. We don't have a lot of people ahead of us who have done this, right? So all we have is each other. The women who are in this place and space right now who are building businesses, we are looking to each other. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to stop all this faking and hiding crap so that we could get real, because we need each other right now. We're pushing edges that have never been pushed. And so I see an opportunity for more and more women to stand up in their independence and their autonomy and their voice and their freedom and their power, and to create an impact that actually heals our planet and raises our collective consciousness. And I eventually see this spreading out into communities and countries around the world where there are women who don't have access to the same things that we have, women in impoverished communities, for example, going in and doing things like rapid transformational therapy and coaching and empowering them and helping them create mindsets that allow them to activate around their desires and create wealth, which allows us to, again, collectively raise consciousness because they can then give back. So that's the big vision that I hold for myself in terms of the direction of my business. But then there's some tangible stuff too. I have a dream. I have a dream of creating a transformational retreat center. I have this dream of creating a transformational retreat center in either like Colorado or California. And it's going to be like this beautiful home that can hold intimate or maybe even medium-sized workshops and experiences for people to come have deep, transformative, life-changing shifts. And there may also be like a collective community component to it, where there are multiple houses on the property where people can come and buy, and there's almost like a village that is there. So it's like a village of people who are all innovators and transformers, who are space holders, and we come together and we create these like empowering experiences to help people transform. And it's in this beautiful natural environment, and the home is just absolutely gorgeous. It's like a massive mansion. Like, it's a big thing. I don't know why, but for some reason a number comes to me that it's going to be like $12 million to build this thing. I don't know why. I was meditating and that's the number that came to me. I don't know. That's just what I got. So that's an example of a vision that I'm holding for myself. And originally when I set that vision, I thought that it would be like a 10, 15, 20-year thing, that I would probably do it closer into my like 40s or maybe 50s. But then I started getting challenged around that. My coach started challenging me, and he started saying like, Jess, why are you putting a time on it? Like, why are you saying it's going to be 15 years? What would happen if you could do it in 2? What would happen if that opportunity is available to you in 2 years? And I was like, are you fucking kidding? There's no way that could happen. That's not possible. So I literally just like shot myself down in that moment. I just told myself like, nope, you could never do that in 2 years. And it was he was like, really, that's really interesting that you would think that about yourself. Like, that's interesting that you would take that opportunity off the table. He's like, what if somebody gave you 12 million? What if something happened and you found $12 million in the next 6 months? Would you build the retreat center? And I was like, well, yeah, of course. And he's like, okay, so then you do have the capacity to do it now, but you have a story that there's a time story. And I find that that happens a lot with our desires, that we like associate our desire to a time. And that's what I was doing with this retreat center. And since then, I've released that, and I've allowed myself to sit into what feels impossible, which is that this thing might be birthed in the next 6 months or the next year. I don't know. But I've released the time-bound element of it. So let me just check in and see what some of you guys are saying. So Aaron says, no debt, able to hop on a plane and go visit someone, large emergency and retirement accounts. Yeah, that safety net. Able to help support family and friends. Lilith, hi, it's good to see you. I want to be able to pay for my daughter's university. That's such a beautiful goal. And Nina, oh yes, thank you, Nina. I'm so glad you see that. I'm really, really excited about it. I feel super excited about it. I'm gonna move inside, guys, because it's getting really dark, and it got dark really fast. Oh Jesus! Oh my God! I just dropped my computer. Oh wow! Did anybody get seasick? Did anybody get terrified like I just did? That's what happens when you have too many cords. I'm with you guys. My desire is never to drop you again. How does that sound? Is this a little better from a lighting perspective? The big lake house in the mountains with the recording studio. Mav, I like that. I like the specificity of that. That's a good one too. How's the lighting here? Is this a little better? Here, I'm a little bit more in the light now. Okay. Yeah. All right. I gotta calm down after that computer dropping situation. That kind of scared the shit out of me, guys. That scared the shit out of me. All right, so we have mountain homes. That seems to be a theme. We have travel, seems to be coming up. Family seems to be coming up, and desires. So we've got a few things coming up already. So, oh, we got sad faces and surprise faces from the computer drop. Okay, cool. So here's what I want to do now. I actually want to invite all of us to close our eyes, and I'm going to do this with you. We're going to close our eyes and take a deep breath in and breathe out. Again, take another deep breath in and breathe out. And allow yourself to come into a bit of stillness, dropping down from your head and into your heart. And as you find this little bit of stillness now, we're going to take this quiet space, just allowing yourself to drop in a little bit, make a little room. We're going to take this space and we're going to fill it up with an extraordinary vision, because so far we've had some really great visions. But are they truly extraordinary? Are they truly visions that seem so absolutely outstanding that we almost believe that they're impossible to reach and create? So just take a moment and just sit into whether or not that feels true for you. And only you know the answer to that, and be honest with yourself about it. You're really, really, really pushing for what feels absolutely extraordinary. Once you kind of find that answer in yourself, I want you to imagine now that it's 3 years from now. It's 3 years from today. We've all been in this tribe together. Maybe you went off on a different direction. But it's 3 years from now into the future. And I want you to imagine you're walking down the street. And then you and I bump into each other, and I haven't seen you or heard from you in 3 years. And we hug, and we're so excited to see each other. And in that moment, I say, oh my gosh, how are you? It's so wonderful to see you. How are you? And you look at me and you say, oh my God, the most extraordinary things have happened to me in my life. The most absolutely unbelievable, extraordinary things have happened to me. And I want you now to think about, what are those extraordinary things? If you were to sit there, we were to go from there, and I say, oh, I want to hear all about it. Let's go to my favorite coffee shop around the corner. We were to sit down and you were to gush to me about all these incredible, life-changing, extraordinary things that have happened for you. What would they be? So just take a moment to sit into that. What extraordinary things would be happening in your business? Would you be speaking on stages alongside some of the world's most prolific leaders? Would you have written and published dozens of books, built schools, bought an island? What amazing, extraordinary things would you have done? Would you have touched 1 million lives through the power of your work? Would you have traveled the world delivering your message? What extraordinary things, beyond belief things, have you done in your business? Just be with that for a moment. Maybe you've been on TV. Maybe you have your own TV show. Maybe you took Oprah's spot. Maybe you're like the female Tony Robbins, but even bigger. Whatever it is for you, just really go there. And what about in your personal life? What amazing and extraordinary experiences have you had? What amazing, extraordinary places have you been? Moments have you had? Relationships have you cultivated? What are those amazing, extraordinary things that just make you pinch yourself because they're absolutely fantastical? Almost they don't seem of this earth. And then how about in your health and in your body? What amazing and extraordinary things are you feeling physically? Have you healed from a disease? Have you finally lost all of that weight and kept it off? Do you have that perfect, beautiful strength that you've always wanted? What is it? It seems so out of reach, but you so desperately want. Just really push that edge. And spiritually as well, for those of you who have a spiritual practice, where are you in your spiritual life? What amazing, expanded experiences have you had in raising your consciousness and connecting with God? Whatever it is for you in your religion and your practice. There's things that just make you say, I couldn't even believe that happened, but it did. And it happened to me. And then, of course, in love and family. What are those extraordinary things that have happened for you there? Traveling the world with your significant other, marrying the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, raising a beautiful family, or maybe just having all those dogs or pets that you always wanted. What is it? What kind of family, either family that you've created from within or soul family, have you called into your life? It just makes you feel so absolutely abundantly loved and bathed in the extraordinariness of your being. And is there anything else? Is there anything else that comes forward for you in that experience of really sitting into your extraordinary life? Get detailed about it. Be specific. And don't hold back. Go ahead and take another deep breath in. And breathe out. Whenever you feel ready, go ahead and open up your eyes. I see we still have 8 people on, so people have stuck by. So if you're here still, just take a moment, and I'd like you to take that pen and paper that you got at the top of the call and write down what you saw in that extraordinary vision. Take a few moments and write it down before you share it with us in the group. Write down what you experienced. What was that extraordinary stuff? I know for me, one of the extraordinary things that I saw in my business as I was doing that was a vision of being on stage, or being on stage with like some of the world's most powerful leaders, political leaders, business leaders, leaders of the arts, just people who I look up to and admire. I have a dream. I have a coaching list. I don't know if you've seen the movie Kill Bill, but in the movie Kill Bill, the main character, she has something called the Dead List 5. And so I kind of took that concept and I created a list of 5 people that would blow my mind to coach. Like blow my mind to coach. And one of those people is Barack Obama, Oprah, Tony Robbins. So just like these people that just like, yeah, I want Barack Obama to give me a call and say, like, if he needs some help. He wants someone to bring him back to his center. He needs someone to help him with a massive transformation. And my name is the one that gets called. That is the kind of stuff I'm talking. It feels like crazy to me even to say it, but that's what I want. And I'm owning that. So write those things down. Write those things, those specific things. They should be very specific and very clear, because that's a part of the things with desires. And I fall into this trap all the time. I'm like, oh, well, I just want to feel like free, or I want to feel happy, or I want to feel at peace, but I'm not really exactly sure what that looks like. So it's hard for me to know if I'm on the right path to getting it, or to creating it, or to being in, or to calling in a right state of being to manifest it. So it gets specific about those things. Write down the stuff that you saw around your health. Write down the stuff that you saw around relationships. Write down the money stuff that you saw that come up. And if right now, as you're writing that stuff down, you feel and you hear any of that like negative self-talk coming forward, write that down as well. Because it's really important to know what parts of you are showing up as you're stepping into your desire, because those are the same parts of you that are sabotaging your success in your business. Those are the same parts of you that are telling you that you're not enough, and that you can't do it, and that you're not worthy, and that it's not available to you. So write that stuff down too, and just capture it so you can see how it's playing out in real time. And it's okay, and don't judge it, and don't get upset at yourself if you're feeling it or seeing it. I know that for me, even as I talk about coaching Barack Obama, I'm like, that little voice in my head was like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. He's going to call you and not Oprah, who you also happen to want to coach. Right. Yeah. Okay. And visions of, for me, I have these visions of also maybe like some kind of television show or something. I don't know what that looks like, but I feel myself in that being like, oh, you're not good enough on camera, or you're not pretty enough, or you don't have a face for television, or nobody would want to listen to you. Like, you don't have an interesting story. So all of those things are coming up for me, even as I was stepping into that big desire. And even the Transformational Retreat Center, I'm like, how am I going to make $12 million to invest in this house? Like this beautiful mega center. Like, how am I going to do that? Or how am I going to convince somebody that I'm worth investing into, right? So these little things come up. So if they're coming up for you, allow them in, see them and notice them. You don't have to hang out and like sit on the couch, no, right? But you can at least just be like, okay, I see you there. Like, that's cool, but I'm going to keep looking over here at my desires for a few minutes. Oh, thank you, Nina. I'm glad that it was very powerful for you. I'm happy to hear that. So I would like to hear now, what are some of those things that you saw in your extraordinary life. It's 3 years from now. We've just run into each other on the street, and you're like, holy crap, Jess, it's been 3 years since I've seen you, girl. Remember we did that exercise 3 years ago, and I told you about my extraordinary life? Well, this is all of the extraordinary stuff that has happened to me since then. And you're just gushing about this beautiful business that you've got, and this wonderful health that's happening in your life, and these incredible travels that you've been on, and these wonderful things that you've designed or built, and these incredible people that you've now become part of a loving circle with. So tell us, chat over here in the side. And if, by the way, did you guys like that practice? Were you vibing with it? Was that cool? Did you enjoy that experience? Give me some hearts and some thumbs up, flowers if you were resonating with that practice of being in this extraordinary expansiveness of yourself. All right, I'm seeing some hearts, and yeah, I've seen an angry face in there too. I don't know. Does that mean somebody's frustrated or struggling? If you were, tell me. If you were sensing any resistance to it, let's talk about it, because that you're probably not alone if that's the case. Okay, lots of likes and hearts and cool. Good. Oh, great. Aaron, I'm so happy. I have both my Aarons here. Aaron and Aaron. Look at you. I'm so happy that you're both here. Fiorella says, my dream for over 30 years and vision is to implement legislation as well as RTT transformation and education for preconception, pre-birth mothers to have the skill set and love. So each child is born has the right to loving, supporting, safe parenting. So each child born is raised with the self-esteem, love, and their unique potential. That is my vision. That would eliminate crime, abuse, poverty, and produce loving, caring, productive, amazing people in the world. Yes. Wow. So if I met you in 3 years, Fiorella, what would you have accomplished in the service of that vision? What would you have done? What kind of things would you have manifested in the service of that vision? Because what an incredible vision. And I believe that too. After you do RTT and you see all the stuff that comes up in childhood around people, all I want to do is just help make sure that no more children become wounded. And I love that vision. I love that vision of the legislation and the vision of ending poverty and crime. It's so beautiful, sister. Yeah, Mav says, yes, Mav's a mom, right? Like, we've got any other mothers in the group who are just like, yes, I want my children to live into that world, or women who want to create a family. I know I'm considering creating a family. That's a whole nother conversation we'll have another day about to child or not to have children. That's like a thing that I've been dealing with for a long time. But I think that is a beautiful vision. Shelley, I saw that you said something up here. I desire to live in a reality where there is more vulnerability in the world of medicine and dentistry. Healthcare providers of all disciplines work together in an integrative fashion, and we are all moving together towards our natural state of wellness. Boom! Yes, that is so incredible, transforming healthcare, which is so essential and so vital for the healing of our planet. And Shelley is a dentist, so we need her insight. She has these beautiful insights into the medical profession so that she can help transform it from the inside out. So I want to know, Shelley, if it's 3 years from now and you're giving me a call or we've run into each other on the street, what exactly has come forward for you since the last time we talked? I'm going to move again because it keeps getting darker in this house. This is my first night in this home, and I'm still learning like what the lighting situation is here, guys. Oh, that's so much brighter. Look how much brighter that is. Oh, that's so much better. I'm going to stand up. So yeah, tell me what else? What else did you guys see? What else did you experience? Nina says, yes, I have 4 children. Erin says, opening an integrative health center to help lower income people become empowered. I love that, Erin. It's a beautiful vision. Sounds like you and Shelley can link up. And Fiorella, my gosh. So I want to know, Erin, if you are in the manifestation of that in 3 years, what exactly have you done? And is it just one health center? I mean, like, let's think big. Is it hundreds? Is it thousands? Are they global? Like, can you push it out? Can you make it even more to the place where it feels like, oh, that doesn't seem comfortable, like that, let's not get ahead of myself here. If you notice that you're saying that to yourself, if you notice you're saying, let's just tone it down a little bit, then you're probably on the right track in terms of pushing yourself to really like expand out, really expand out. So I want to know more specifics, ladies. In 3 years, like what really cool shit's happened? And also, like, what about your life? Have you traveled to your dream destination? Where have you been? What have you done? I know for me, an extraordinary vision that I have is that in 3 years, I would be invited to hang out with Tony Robbins at his private island in Fiji, by him personally. We would like hang out and do our breathing exercises in the morning. That would be amazing. You guys know how much I love Tony. So yeah, I would love that. Like, that seems impossible, but so exciting. So exciting to think about hanging out with Tony Robbins on his beach in Fiji. Yeah. It makes me laugh because it sounds so silly, because it seems so impossible, but at the same time, I want it so much. It makes me kind of giddy. And as Abraham said this morning or this weekend, it makes you feel kind of frisky. If you're frisky and feeling good, then you know you're on the right track. So when I think about that, it makes me feel kind of frisky. And so I like the way it makes me feel thinking about that. Okay, so Aaron says, so wait, Nina, let me catch up. Nina, I want to uncover the bad business in pharmaceutical industries is making with IVF. So you have a desire to do what? Transform in IVF and how that happens? And tell me more. Like, what does that look like for you? If in 3 years we're on the phone or we're hanging out at this coffee shop or walk down the street, what have you done? Have you like blown the lid off of something? Have you gotten some major funding? What does that look like in terms of the way it manifests? So Aaron Donnet says to start with one of those centers and then iron out difficulties and go from there. So it sounds like by the end of 3 years, you would have built it up, figured out what worked and what didn't work, and then you'd be in expansion. Is that right, Aaron? Give me a heart or a like. Let me know if that's true. Nina says, making a documentary, the truth about cancer, about IVF. Ooh, a documentary. That's cool. So how can you push it even further? What if it was a documentary, but like a worldwide acclaimed documentary that was a Golden Globe winner? Is that Golden Globes? That's for movies? I don't know. I've lived in LA and I still don't know. I'm not really much of a movie person or like, entertainment industry person, but is that Golden Globes? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, did you win some like amazing awards and you've transformed this through the power of that documentary? Like, what have you experienced around that? Oh, thanks, Nina. I appreciate your reflection on my dreams. I'm so smiley talking about this. This makes me so smiley. Does this make you smiley too? This makes me smiley. And I love seeing how powerful you guys are. God damn, you're so cool. Okay, so I've been on stage at a digital, yeah, lots of hearts. Nav says, I've been on stage at a digital marketer event where I was introduced by Ryan Deiss. I freed myself from PCOS and I finally had an easy, healthy pregnancy. Eddie is creating amazing music and you guys have come visit us. Oh, this is gonna make me cry. In beautiful Lake Tahoe home at the recording studio. I'm still coaching gymnastics because I love it. Oh, that's such a beautiful vision. And Mav, I have to tell you, one of the places that I have had some meditations and like downloads around for our retreat center is actually Tahoe. Because it's on the West Coast, it's a year-round destination. Is anybody else, if I built a home in Tahoe, would you come hang out with me there? Would I be able to coax you out and go do some like cool skiing and then come in and do some like amazing deep work with Tony Robbins? Yeah, does that sound fun? Anybody want to hang out in my house in Tahoe with Tony? You'll get lots of hearts and flowers. Cool. Awesome. And even like what I would love even more if I were to like really stretch that vision out, I want it to be accessible to everyone and anyone. That's one of the things that like I have a bit of a bugaboo. It's like, I don't know about you, but I have like a love-hate thing. Like I want to be compensated for the work that I do, but at the same time, I want it to be available to anyone. So I would probably also like create another thing that I have a vision for personally is to create some kind of foundation. And I've actually been thinking about this recently. It's been coming forward to me a lot more, and I've never been a charity person, Anybody else here have a vision of creating some kind of foundation or charity or fund that is giving back in some way? Anybody else have that vision? If you do, I'd love to know what you see that being, and here to the space so that we can kind of collectively see if that's part of our group desire. Shelly says, see you there with Tony. I'm joining in on that. Yeah, and we'll also bring Esther and Abraham along. How's that sound? So we'll have Tony one day and Esther Abraham another day. So Aaron says, Mav says, my house is big enough too. Yay, great. So maybe our houses are next door to each other, Mav, and then we can just have different events. Like you can be like the marketing guru, like business event stuff, and then, you know, we can share. We can like just shuttle people back and forth between our two transformational homes. So Aaron says, I would have an awesome marriage and a child. With lots of time to spend with my child and nieces, and have a beautiful home on the beach. What beach? I want to know. Is it like a Cape Cod style home, or is it more like a big modern one? Is it like in the Hamptons? Like, do you have one of those cool circular drives? Like, are you overlooking a golf course? Tell me more. And you maintained a strong body. Yeah. I want to know more about, TED Talk for everyone. Nina. Yeah. Anybody else have a vision of doing a book, a TED Talk, something like that? Anybody else here want to be published and to be on stages and speaking? Anybody else? If that's you, heart, flowers, thumbs up. Let us know what you think about that, if that's a desire that you have, because we have a lot of people in this community who have done speaking all over the world, and that might be a cool topic that we can arrange like a Q&A session around sometime. That's also part of why I'm kind of curious to see about this stuff for you guys, because we all have connections, right? Like we all know people. And if we all know what everybody's driving towards, then we have the ability to share our resources, because we are all resourceful, both inside and outside. So if we know what we want, we can help each other get it. Aaron says there's a book inside of you. Oh, have you considered what it might be? And Aaron Donald says, leading talks in my company's yearly convention and leading a team of influencers creating change through nutrition and wealth building. Yeah, and and wealth building. That's amazing. We have quite a bit of interest in health here. Quite a bit of interest in health in our community. That's really cool to see. So I'm loving hearing your desires. Continue to share them with me. Keep popping them out there. Keep bringing them forward. And I want to just shift gears to another kind of lane now. We've really dived deep into our desires and the things that are making us feel juicy and excited. We're pushing the envelope around what's possible, and we can probably push even more, right? We can probably go even farther. So what can we do to be in the allowance of these big, beautiful, incredibly inspirational, meaningful desires? I have my opinion about it, but I would love to hear from you. You guys are all coaches, transformationalists. So I want to know, what is it that you tell your clients or that you do within yourself that allows you to be in the allowance of your desire? What has been effective for you? What have you seen that's worked? Aaron Donna says, good health is the building block of creation. I will second that. And you know what I'll say about that? As I have been expanding in my business, as I've been sharing with you guys, I've been pushing an edge around self-care. My past self-care routines, which were good enough, are not good enough. It's kind of this interesting thing. Like the more momentum I've gained, the more I have to slow down and create space for my healing. And I've been noticing that I've been getting really exhausted and burned out. And so is Ryan. Like, we are both so fucking tired right now. We were laying down in bed 20 minutes before we got onto he's on an 1.5 hour long strategy session with a new client right now. We're here having our beautiful conversation, but there are a few times today, I've been up since 5 o'clock Eastern time, because I flew out here. There was a few times today I was like, I don't even know. I want to talk about desire, but I don't even know if I have the energy to talk about desire. So you're right, Erin. Without health, without having that stamina, that sustained energy within your vessel, within your body, it's impossible to be in creation. It's just not impossible, but it makes it a lot more difficult for me. I don't know about it for the rest of you guys. Nina says, I moved to Bali and it changed me profoundly. Oh, are you in Bali now? Are you in Bali now, Nina? Or have you come back? And I want to hear about that. That sounds like a cool thing for you to share about in the group. Would you want to do that? Would you feel comfortable sharing in the group about how your life in Bali changed you and in what ways? I think that's really fascinating for us to hear about how you just followed that. I know a lot of us here have been in other places around the world. Anybody else here? Hearts and Flowers, I've dreamed and living in other places. So anyway, what can we do to be in the allowance of our desire? Oh, that's awesome. Awesome, Nina. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, everybody wants to know. I want to know how you did that, Nina. How did you do that, Nina? We want to know. This is an example, a real life example of what it looks like to follow your desires. So how do you be in the allowance of your desire? Well, the RTT ladies here may resonate with what I'm about to say. But what I find when it comes to desire is that you have this conscious desire, which are these visions that we just defined, right? Or maybe they may even be something even more simple, but you have these conscious desires that you're holding in your mind. But then at the same time, you have your subconscious mind, which is programmed with old thought, what I call thoughtware. That thoughtware that you picked up as a child, which is why, Fiorella, your work is so important. That thoughtware is running in the background and is like pushing against the desire of your conscious mind. So what ends up happening is that we have these conscious desires over here, but then we have this big old subconscious part that is so much more powerful, that drives 95% of our life experiences, that is overriding this conscious desire. And so it puts us in this experience of wanting something so much, but subconsciously sabotaging our day-to-day being and acting, and it keeps us from moving into this reality. Because all of these realities that we've all described are completely possible. And we know that it's possible because we see examples of it. Richard Branson has an island, right? Tony Robbins has an island. Oprah exists. So we know that these things are possible, like we know that. But the problem is that this big old part back here, I always like to think about my subconscious living back here, but that part back there just doesn't always come along for the ride. And so this is why I like to work with the subconscious mind to create a harmony between your conscious and your subconscious desires. Because if you have this desire to create epicenters, healthcare epicenters all over the world, but then you have a subconscious belief that you are not worthy, or that you're not ready, or that you're not capable, and you pick that up as a child, then these two things are in opposition. They're not an allowance. And so what ends up happening is whenever you get that thought of that desire, you simultaneously, like I said earlier, get the negative thought. And that negative thought tends to take up more of our attention. Anybody else here agree with that? Do your negative thoughts oftentimes override your desires? I know that happens to me. My negative thinking takes down my desires. I'm working on increasing the strength of my desiring thoughts, increasing the vibration of them and momentum of them. Hypnotherapy is one of the ways that I do that, but that is a big part of this. So if you're also in that experience of having those desires, negative thoughts override your desires, one of the ways that you can shift that is through a technique that I learned at Abraham this weekend. Of course, hypnotherapy and hypnosis is a huge, huge huge opportunity for you to create that harmony. If you haven't done it yet, you should. And we'll create opportunities for you to do that in the future. But Abraham talks about it like this. If you want something, but you find yourself focusing on a problem, or you find yourself stuck in negative thought, the suggestion is not to continue to focus on how do I fix the negative thought, but instead to get into action for something that brings you a feeling of goodness, to get into action into something that makes you feel good and that brings you joy. And it may be completely unrelated. So, for example, my husband today has been stressing out because he's expanding his business very, very rapidly, and he's building his team, and some parts of him has this fear that he's not going to be able to serve at the highest levels. And so my invitation to him was, instead of focusing on trying to fix that anxiety, instead, what would happen if you chose to focus on doing something that made you feel good? Like, we're at this house right now, go hang out in the hot tub, or go for a walk, lay in the sun, or go make a meal that you love and that's delicious, or watch your favorite comedy show. Something that raises your vibration. Because what Abraham says is that when you raise your vibration, when you focus on the feeling of feeling good, you create momentum around that positive energy. And then you start to attract more positive energy into your life. And by not focusing on that problem, you actually create space for the receiving and the allowance of that desire. Because now you're actually focused on the things that make you feel good, and that feeling good creates more feeling good things, and you start to do things that make you feel good, and you start to learn to listen to your intuition, which is what most of us start to shut down when it comes to achieving and pursuing these big desires. I know for me, I will let my negative thoughts and the evil demon thought come over and take over and push down my truth. And I stop trusting myself, and I start doubting myself. And that's when I begin the process of making the dream smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I can't tell you how many times at the Transformational Retreat Center, it's come all the way down to the size of a fucking tiny house. Literally. I have made it as big as a $12 million retreat center in Lake Tahoe with a horse farm, all the way down to the size of a tiny house, and saying, well, maybe that's good enough. You know, maybe I'm caught up on the size of this. Maybe it doesn't need to be this, it doesn't need to be that. And sorry, there's an ambulance going by. But maybe it doesn't need to be this or that, and I can just be content with a tiny house. Well, that's not really what I wanted, but I allowed myself to talk myself down because I was more focused on the anxiety of that experience. And if I had just chosen to get myself to be like, you know what, I'm putting this away right now, and I'm going to do something instead that makes me feel really good, that's going to put me back into a place of inspiration and creation. Because that's what we're here to do as human beings, is to create. And it's a lot more fun to create around your desires, is it not? So we're down to 2 viewers, which means... And it's actually almost at the top of the hour. So this was a really fun conversation, guys. Oh, Nina says, ask and it is given. Nina says, cannot put it in a Facebook comment. Need more space. Yeah, Nina, I totally understand. Maybe you can make it just like a regular post in the group, or you could write a blog post about it and share it with us. I don't know, whatever you think. I'm open, but you don't have to do it here in this. Like, I could see that's probably a long story, isn't it? A story that I do want to hear, and I think we would all benefit from hearing. So I just want to know really quickly before we sign off, we got 5 minutes left here. I just want to know, what was your big takeaway from the experience today about being in your desire? What did you witness in yourself? What did you see? And how are you feeling now about being in your desire? Are you feeling jazzed? Are you feeling excited about it? Are you feeling apprehensive or hesitant? So tell me, just chat away for just a minute. And just let me know if there was the one thing that you would say that you took away from tonight, what would it be? No dream is too big. Yes, Nina, that's right. No dream is too big. No dream is too big. Let's not limit ourselves. There's no reason to. We are limitless. We are nothing but energy and limitlessness. We are all divine, and we can be whatever we want and create whatever we want. And Mav says, I know it's actually closer than I believed. Yes, that's right. Because we're going to go hang out in Tahoe together, and I'm looking forward to that. All right, sisters. So give me some hearts and likes if you are vibing on this conversation tonight. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you so much for being part of these conversations over the last 3 days, for showing up. And showing up, not just being here, but also showing up powerfully, engaged with powerful content and questions and vulnerability and the courage and the bravery that it takes to be in that vulnerability. And also, I want to thank you for witnessing me and in my vulnerability as well. There has been times over the past couple of days that I have shared things that have been really edgy for me, that I go to bed sleeping with, that I go to bed with at the end of the day after our calls, and I'm like, wow, I wonder if I went too far. Like, did I say too much? Did I pull back the kimono too far in these conversations? And so that's how I know that I feel like I've been pushing my edges in my vulnerability, and it's an important practice for me. So I just want to thank you all for seeing that and for witnessing that, and for being so kind and generous with each other as well, holding each other up, getting excited for each other, and supporting each other as well. And this is just the start, ladies. This is just the start of the culture that we're building, of the community that we're building, and the movement that you are part of. And I'm so, so grateful to all of you and appreciative of you for choosing to be here. And I want to encourage you to continue to share, to continue to speak up in the tribe. You don't have to wait for me to engage you. Like, you can comment, like, this is your space. We are here to support you, all of us, me and everybody. So take advantage of this space that you have chosen, that you have called in. You called this into your life. Some part of you needed this, and you're here. So take it in, take this opportunity in, and we're here to support you 100%, because you are worth it. So thank you guys. I love you so much. And maybe I'll send you a little birthday message tomorrow. So have a good night. Blessings from LA. Bye.